The music company known as Musocity's controversial rise to a global superpower that now owns 64% of the world's land is an unbelievable story. Musocity was a radio company that was quickly taking siege to the rising popularity of music. Lorenz Hart, a popular artist of the 1800s, was the first artist that signed a contract to the music company. At the time, he was recognized as an Adonis of the music industry and helped propel Musocity to an up-and-coming music superpower. This deal opened the floodgates. Musocity soon signed Benny Goodman, Louis Armstrong, and Jimmy Rogers. All three were prominent artists at the time. Around this era, this widespread music enjoyment was bringing the population together during what was considered rough times. This led to Mila Nicole Calloway, a radically pro-Musocity spectator, to advocate for a Musocity state. The idea was, surprisingly, accepted and agreed upon by most of the community, as the music Musocity had been playing had inspired civilians to what we now know as the Great Economic Boom of 1883. Citizens' lifestyles had greatly improved under Musocity, and the growing fanbase began criticizing those in charge of New York. This led to a mob that stormed the Empire State Building. Franklin Edson, the mayor at the time, and the sole anti-Musocity denier, threatened to use lethal force on the thousands of people. His army, however, was slowly dwindling, and rebelled in favor of the growing army, Communion of Musocity, and surrendered. New York City, and most importantly, the state of New York, had converted to a new form of economic system called Musoism. Musoism rapidly spread throughout America, and each state quickly subsided to the growing supporters. Fast forward to the early 1920s, and Calvin Coolidge, the President of the United States at the time, was publicly anti-Musocity, but he was quoted in private as saying, "Our time is limited, so don't waste it denying Musocity's overwhelming successes." In 1924, Coolidge, pressured by the United Nations, officially signed a document giving over the rights of the entire east coast of America to Musocity, a groundbreaking success for the democratic kingdom of Muso. But wait a moment, this map isn't complete. Musocity owns the east coast, but the west coast is unaccounted for. Is there a second party in this equation?
In the beginning there was Musocity, but a few years later there was Fusotown. Fusotown began as a lumber company in the late 1800s, led by young entrepreneur and rising artist Malik McMillan. The organization became wealthy quickly and overtook the lumber industry in a matter of months, which led to a cult-like following surrounding the group and its achievements. This cult fan base, dubbed as the People's Nation of Fusotown, vowed to protect Fusotown from any competitor to ensure its accomplishments remained intact. This gargantuan success of the People's Nation of Fusotown is largely attributed to their vastly successful military that was based on guerrilla warfare, which helped spread the advocacy of Fusotown. This concept was first utilized in the infamous late 1800s battle of McMillan versus Utah. The battle took place in the small city of Ogden, lasting over 2 hours and 38 minutes.
Hello. I was there at the Battle of Ogden. I saw him rip that man in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Fusotown paramilitary group, FPG for short, seized the land of Utah and overthrew the government body. Sadly, upon this victory, Fusotown was not aware of what it took to support an economy. The value of the newly introduced Fuso buck was not taken well by its citizens, as it plummeted to at least 30 cents below that of a United States dollar. President McMillan, faced with dire decisions, decided to expand territory and attack more states, conquering them effortlessly with his flawless army tactics. He was an excellent tactician, but was criticized by many as a poor leader. It was hard for President McMillan to bring his army together, as about 12% of the FPG troops were lost in combat. It is rumored that the CIA, whom many believed to be associated with Musocity enterprises at the time, started a revolt within Fusotown. Many anonymous CIA agents committed felonious acts, such as stealing cattle and chickens, which made the Fusotownians unable to purchase any goods, thus tanking the economy even further. Anti-McMillan propaganda rose as a result of this, and President Malik McMillan was assassinated in broad daylight within the Fusotownian states.
Hello. I was there during the assassination of Malik McMillan. Hello.
Okay, this guy again. We gotta get him out of here.
There.
We gotta get him out.
I was
Get him
there.
out. Many believe this was an inside job by the independent Fusotown Party, IFP. The IFP was an independent party that rose to fame for its spokesperson, Bailey Marchand. As a result of this assassination, Marchand won the election of 1892 in a landslide, taking the reins of the new president of Fusotown, bringing in a new economic system known as Traditional Pure Economy, TPE for short. The IFP and TPE led to Fusotown taking over the west coast to little resistance, and America was officially split in two.
By this point, the United Nations was becoming quite irritable with how two music companies have taken over one of the most powerful nations in the world. The UN forced both sides to sign a peace treaty in 1946, as the threat of nuclear war became imminent. Both sides reluctantly accepted. The conditions were so tense that both world leaders, Esquire Marchand and Countess Calloway, almost fought mid-handshake. To this day, both sides remain in a Cold War, with both accusing each other of heinous acts. These two music giants controlling 100% of the geopolitical landscape illustrates the power of propaganda and how one group can rise to fame so easily. What would you do if this happened to you, and which side would you take, if any?